All right, welcome back to the stream. Well, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to get into a variety of topics, but this first one, we're going to talk about the Tesla Model Y and Model 3 market and why I feel like even though a price drop, a price decrease just happened, I think another one is right on the cusp or on the future because a couple of things that I'm noticing with this price drop and price decrease. But before we get into, and we're going to get into a lot of different topics, but before we get into any of that, let's roll that intro real quick. All right, so thanks for watching another stream. Thanks for watching another video. My name is Dennis, and I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on a Tesla at the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. In today's video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link down below in the description, where you can get the best Tesla buying guide out there. It has all the best interest rates and credit union rates, better than Tesla financing. So definitely check it out. Patreon link down below in the description. And shout out to my latest Patreon member. We got Vikram. Thanks for joining. Thanks for supporting. If you want to check it out, Patreon link down below in the description or the YouTube join link. So let us take a look at this. Let's step back a little bit and take a look at what we're talking about. We're talking about the Model Y and the Model 3. And currently right now, yes, there was a price decrease, almost 4 days ago, right? Last past Thursday, the Model Y dropped about $2,000 across the board. And then also, of course, there was an introduction of the Model Y standard range at $49,990. On the Model 3 side, there was basically a $1,000 reduction across the board. But no reintroduction of a Model 3 long range. Model 3 long range was $49,990 before all of this. And we're speculating it's like a $48,990 price point, but we'll just get into it, right? So Model Y right now, I really feel like there's going to be some sort of upcoming price reduction or price decrease, and here is actually why. So if you take a look at these inventory charts, what do you notice? Inventory is going up and it keeps going up. Granted, this is April, which is the first month of the second quarter. We know Tesla works in quarterly functions or quarterly fashions where they try and sell as many vehicles every single quarter. And I guess maybe this first month, there's not too much of any sort of, initial push or aggressiveness to try and sell some of these vehicles, but inventory is starting to spike up to levels where we haven't seen in a while, or at least we haven't seen in a long time. And this is interesting, right? Because there was that massive, or not massive, but $2,000 price chop across the board on all Model Ys. So even though there was a price decrease, inventory is still going up. That might mean, that usually means, or what that could signal to us, is that demand isn't necessarily there, or there's too much supply for the actual demand. And really everything is checking all the boxes for Tesla, like the $7,500 federal tax credit that is supposed to get shaken up on April 18th is still around, and it seems like it's still going to continue past April 18th, April 18th, at least for the Tesla Model Y. On the Model 3 side, though, of course, it's a different story entirely in terms of the tax credit. The Model 3 standard range all-wheel drive is slated to lose half of the tax credit at $3,750, and so that potentially could have an effect on the demand as well. But Model Y should stay strong, right? I guess what they're saying about sales being pulled ahead from summer because of the $7,500 federal tax credit potentially going away, it potentially could have had an effect to try and sell some of the vehicles last quarter. Tesla had a phenomenal first quarter, at least in the across the global markets, but this is pretty interesting that inventory is starting to steadily spike up just a little bit. So if we take a look at the inventory mix, right, because that's what's most important, that's what shows how strong certain model lines are or model trims are, we can see there's a lot of healthiness or a healthy spread between the inventory. We've got 205 long range all-wheel drives. We've got 120 all-wheel drives, Model Y all-wheel drive standard ranges, but only 30 Model Y performance. So if you need a car quick, then the best bet is to always try and go for a Model Y performance, because they try and sell those very, very, very quickly. Or really go to waitingfortesla.com, try and find an inventory vehicle that's out there, try and lock it down, and then try and take delivery ASAP. And so I certainly feel like like we've got some room. And according to this Tesla price history tracker, the Tesla Model Y still has some room, at least in terms of like the range that Tesla has charged for these vehicles in the past. We can see the Model Y long range in this row right here has actually been as low as $49,000, or specifically $48,990. So I'm not saying Tesla will go to that price immediately, but I mean, it's definitely within their range, right? So I mean, also back then there wasn't a Model Y all-wheel drive standard range, so that's only $3,000 to $4,000 from where the price is right now. And of course, back in when that price was, the Model Y was $48,990, the tax credit also was not around at that point. I think it expired, or it sold too many vehicles at that point. So I think it was already nullified at that point, so people couldn't actually get it. So pretty interesting stuff, right? I mean, inventory is starting to spike up, and if inventory keeps going higher and higher and higher, we know what Tesla's play is. We know what Tesla's move is, or their strategy. It's either discount or offer some sort of incentives. That could be 10,000 supercharger miles, 20,000 superchargers. The supercharger miles, they've even done unlimited supercharging within a couple of years, or things like that. And then of course there's free option credits in the play. There's a variety of different strategies that Tesla can pull from their back pocket. I mean, at this point, the Model Y is going to be almost 3 years old, so maybe they could add even like trade up credits, like, hey, trade in your Model 3 for a Model Y and get an extra $2,000 or $3,000, whatever the case may be. They've got a lot of strategies. But jumping to the Model 3 side, we did have a slight dip in vehicles, or sold vehicles. That was probably because of the last Thursday's price drop, where people started to transact and wanted to actually buy these vehicles. But you can also see that inventory is also starting to steadily go up and up and up as well. So is there a price decrease in the near future for the Model 3? I would say so. 100%, because right now the Model Y standard range is slated to lose that half of that tax credit down to $3,750, but the Model 3 Performance is it's at its lowest price that it's ever been. So I don't know if it could drop even more, but I think the Model 3 long range is going to come back into the market after they price drop the Model 3 standard range down to $39,990. I think the Model 3 long range is going to come in right about $45,000. So I think that is going to be the price it's going to be. I think that's where it's going to land in. So definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what you're thinking down below in the comments, or even the live stream. And so I really feel like there is going to be an upcoming price discount, or Tesla's just going to go to their usual strategy. They're going to add demo discounts and incentives all over the place on all these different vehicles. I mean, right now there isn't that many demo inventory out there on the waiting for Tesla sites, and so right now there's only 10, and the discounts are pretty measly, right? $100 here, $100 there. This one's pretty nice with a $2,430 discount, but besides that, all of them are pretty much a lackluster discount at the end of the day. But we're going to jump into our next topic. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down below in the description is a Patreon link where you can support the channel. And there's a variety of benefits, but some of them include actually scheduling a call with me, where you can ask me any questions about buying a Tesla, selling a Tesla, or even financing a Tesla. And after you join the Patreon, you get a link to my buying guide, which is the best buying guide out there to buy a Tesla, that has links to all the resources and banks and credit unions that I use to get the best possible rate on your Tesla, including credit unions and a list of banks that all have interest rates lower than Tesla financing. Tesla financing right now is at like a 5.59% the last time we checked. So definitely, if you want to beat that rate, check out the Patreon link down below in the description, or check out some of the other videos on the channel. All right, water break. Thanks for jumping in, everyone. I see all the live stream comments. We will definitely answer all of those. Thanks, React. Welcome. Howard, welcome. Warren, welcome in. Darian, welcome. Erico, thanks for coming back. River, Ryan, Smacky P, love it. River, thanks for all coming in. Thanks for coming in. We're going to try and do this a little bit differently, because this week we're going to be doing a little bit of traveling later on this week. So we've got to streamline the content a little bit, so it's a little bit more flows quicker, because we're actually going on a little bit of a vacation. But in this next topic, we're going to talk about how Tesla has got some suspension issues, and how there actually might be a recall over some suspension issues on one of their models. I mean, you all know my position on Tesla, especially the Model 3 and the Model Y, and how I really feel like the suspension of those vehicles are lackluster. And so maybe there is actually an issue that with these Tesla vehicles, and it's good to see that Tesla is addressing it for this model. But if you're just running in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on Tesla at the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And so let us take a look at this. So shout out to Tesla North. Tesla recalls select Model 3 vehicles over suspension issues. So quote, Tesla has issued a voluntary recall for Model 3 vehicles due to a defect in the front suspension lateral link that could cause instability and a risk of collision. The defect is caused by two fasteners that loosen over time and cause the lateral link to separate from the subframe. For details on an NHTSA notice. It looks like this recall only is a few number of people. I mean, thank goodness at the end of the day, because this sounds like a pretty serious recall. And I do wonder, like, does this affect any sort of like the comfortability of this? It seems like it's more so like if it delinks, then something could happen or likely happen in a increased risk of collision. But only 422 vehicles or 422 Tesla Model 3s seem to be affected from January 5th of 2018 to March 30th of 2019. But at the end of the day, if you've got any sort of issues, if you feel any sort of qualms about your vehicle, your Model 3, definitely just go to a Tesla center near you and try and see if they can take a look at it to see if there's anything wrong with the vehicle. But you know, Tesla Model 3 suspension issues, not a good look at the end of the day. But also at the same time, like 2018 to 2019, that's like what, I think the first year of the Tesla Model 3. So, I mean, they do say in the, you know, when you're buying a vehicle, really anything, right? Even if you're buying like a new iPhone or something, like never really buy that first year or that first initial run batch, because there's always going to be some issues or qualms with the technology or anything like that. But if you've got a Model 3 out there, or if you're looking to buy a Model 3 with that between this manufacturer time frame, just be aware of that, especially for a used one. But we're going to jump into our next topic. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Check it out down below in the description if you want to support the channel. So in this next topic, Tesla has updated or released a new update that I feel like might be the best UI enhancement update that we've seen in a while. We'll go over the exact couple things that have been added to it and why I feel like it's actually a very big, very good update at the end of the day. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on Tesla at the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And so let us take a look at this. Shout out to Tesla Scope exclusive. A new unreleased Tesla software update is now going out to employee vehicles, including a trove of interface-oriented improvements. So we've got the first one, text size adjustment. I mean, I think that's a pretty cool thing, and I'm wondering like why wasn't that a thing before, right? Because we can increase the size and text of our iPhones and computers and everything, but our UI screen of the car, like that I thought that was like it baked in there originally, but that is a pretty big feature, especially, you know, as I get older and I keep looking at these two screens in front of me, you know, I definitely like to adjust the text screen size a lot more. So that's why I feel like that is probably one of the biggest improvements of the technology or the UI in a while. The second one is controls search. So I don't know about you all, but I have definitely been accustomed now to searching for everything. I use the search feature on my iPhone. I use the search feature with Windows, Mac, everything. I don't try and look for files manually anymore. I just try and search for it just because I know what the file name will be. So control search would actually be a great feature, because now you can just search it and maybe just search using your voice instead to try and figure out what you need to actually change with your Tesla. Points of interest, that seems cool. I think they've already had something like that, but maybe it's more enhanced. Phone call controls, very nice. It looks like you can mute it and control your phone calls from the steering wheel, which is definitely a very nice feature as well. We've got scroll wheel customizations. I do like that. It looks like you can adjust certain things with the touch of your left scroll wheel on your Tesla. It looks like you can change stuff like acceleration mode. I mean, I really like that, because even though I do drive and chill a lot, I do throw it into sport, as we all should, every once in a while. And so being able to set a hardware button on your scroll wheel to switch it from chill to sport, like in a flick of a button, like that would be a very, very nice feature at the end of the day, among some other quick action item features that you can set up. We've got gear chimes. I think that's a pretty cool one. I guess like if you shift into gears, it's going to make a chime. That's pretty nice at the end of the day. Passenger seat controls. Looks like you can adjust the passenger seat from your position as a driver, which I think that is a phenomenal idea, because every once in a while you want to move it, but then you have to reach all the way over there and move it. So this is actually a great feature at the end of the day. And then we've got other stuff like speech recognition. We've got Zoom meetings. This is the beauty, I would say, of owning a Tesla, right? And we talked about this yesterday. We talked about it a number of times. Like Tesla is not a luxury material vehicle, but with all these updates and the speed of these updates that Tesla makes to their technology, I would definitely say Tesla is a luxury technology intuitive vehicle at the end of the day. So definitely check it out. Check out Tesla Scope with all the different updates, or even check out notateslaapp.com. You can see all the different updates that are going to be coming soon. And so I am actually pretty excited to mess around with these updates. Usually I don't update every single time, especially when it gets updated or you get that notification on the app to update it right away. I usually wait a little bit just in case there's any sort of bugs or anything, and then I update it like a week later. But definitely some cool stuff. Let me know what your thoughts on it are. Of course, this is, if you haven't bought a Tesla yet, this is something you to look forward to with all these fun updates. But we're going to jump into our next topic. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down below in the description is a Patreon link where you can support the channel, and there's a variety of benefits, so definitely check it out if you're interested. And if you're just joining in, welcome. We talked about the Tesla Model 3 market and the Tesla Model Y market, and how I really feel like an upcoming price decrease is literally on the horizon. Give it like maybe a month or two, 100%. I would say 99.99% there's going to be a decrease by the end of the second quarter, which is the end of June. And here is why. We're starting to see inventory track up just a little bit. And the weird thing with this is we're seeing inventory increase right after that most recent price discount, which was only a few days ago on the Thursday or really Friday of last week. So usually when there's discounts, inventory sells, but only when there's good massive amount of discounts or something that is pushing to try and get people to take delivery. Like we definitely thought that the $7,500 federal tax credit for this year was potentially going to expire by the end of March, and then it got a deadline pushed to April 18th. But now it feels like there is really no deadline, especially for the Model Y. So a combination of no deadline plus inventory coming up, definitely going to be a very weird environment for Tesla vehicles, Tesla Model 3 vehicles, and Tesla Model Y vehicles in terms of like the sales at the end of the day. But in this next topic, we're going to talk about another Tesla competitor or another EV manufacturer in another segment of EV price war or EV war, because this manufacturer only sold or barely sold any electric vehicles in March of 2023. And this is not the Hummer EV that only sold 2 vehicles. This is another manufacturer that only sold a handful of vehicles. And so we'll take a look at it, and we'll take a look at why, because I would say the reason why is very, very obvious, but we'll definitely take a look at it. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on Tesla at the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And so let us take a look at this. So shout out to Inside EV US. Mazda MX-30 sales remain at stable near zero in March of 2023 with 4 units sold last month. Mazda sales are not very electrifying. And if you've known about this vehicle, if you know exactly what it is, definitely drop it in the comments on why you feel like this vehicle is not selling at all. We'll get to that in a second as well. But here's a chart of the Mazda MX-30 sales of the electric vehicle in the US of March, or at least all the different months, and we can see there's not a lot of them. I mean, this is 50 with a 50, not 5,500 or 50,000 or 50 million or whatever. And so this vehicle is a very interesting vehicle at the end of the day. And so if we take a look at why, I pulled it up on the website. The reason is pretty obvious. We've got the vehicle price here, the Mazda MX-30 at a $34,000 price. That's basically the price of a Model 3 if you factor in the $7,500 federal tax rate. The Model 3 is still, yes, a little bit more at the end of the day, but if you factor in that $7,500 federal tax rate, you're pretty close to this price, maybe a couple $1,000s more if you're able to redeem the whole benefits of it, and if you redeem the benefits when you get the $7,500 next year, not this year when you file for your taxes. But the second reasoning here is it really only has a 100-mile range. Even the Tesla Model 3, even the Chevy Bolt, even the Nissan Leaf, they all have double to triple that range essentially. So having a vehicle that only has 100 miles doesn't really make a lot of sense here at the end of the day. And then of course, like this vehicle being sold is being sold at a dealership, so most likely there's some sort of markets, but hopefully at this point there's discounts on this vehicle. And I think that what I think that what Mazda probably really needs to do here with this vehicle is they probably need to release some sort of massive incentive program to try and get rid of these vehicles ASAP. Even the Chevy Bolt has an effective price of over $20,000. So for a Mazda to have a $10,000 more price vehicle, I would buy one of these if this was like $100 a month lease, because then we can just have an extra car just for zipping around and go get errands done or whatever. But really that's pretty much where it ends. But let me know what your thoughts, like how much would you pay a month for this vehicle? We've had other EVs, and granted, I'm a Tesla fan. I've had 4 Teslas so far, a Model 3, Model Y, and a Model S, and now a Model X. But I always keep my eye out there to see what's the best deal I can get on a vehicle or even an electric vehicle. And so our best deal, I would say, I have had a BMW i3. If you don't know what that is, it's like a little zippy electric car. I think it was like 2018 or 2017. Granted, it is a $45,000 to $50,000 vehicle, but at the time we were able to lease it for $132 a month out the door, and it had 3 years of free charging as well. So you can do the math and calculation for yourself. It basically paid for itself at the end of the day. And so this of course was a BMW i3 with a $50,000 MSRP. So I would say if Mazda came out with this vehicle right now with like $120 a month, like that's probably max, because you got to factor in insurance. That's probably another $100 a month. Then I would say they would be able to sell a bunch of these vehicles at the end of the day. But let me know what your thoughts on it. We're going to jump into our next topic, but before we do that, this video is sponsored by my Patreon link. Down below in the description is a Patreon link where you can support the channel, and there's a variety of benefits, but some of them include actually scheduling a call with me. We can ask me any questions about buying a Tesla, selling a Tesla, or even financing a Tesla. And after you join the Patreon, you get a link to my buying guide, which has links to all the resources and links banks that I use to get the best possible deal at the best possible price, including credit unions and banks on that list that all have interest rates lower than Tesla financing, lower than Tesla's 5.59%. So definitely check it out. Patreon link down below in the description. Sir Zodiac, thanks for the $5 super chat. Let's read your comment. Tesla adjusted my Model Y long-range reservation to update new prices. Do you see any more price cuts coming? EDD April 10 to 19. Wait, hold on a second. April 10 to 19. Zodiac, that's like today, right? So basically you are going to take delivery within the next week. I would say yes, Sir Zodiac. For sure, there's going to be some sort of price adjustment all the way by June, which is the last month of the second quarter. But what I say, is there going to be any price cuts in the near future, like the next week or so? I don't think so that soon. They just discounted the Tesla Model Y $2,000. But if we take a look, let's just look at the history chart, right? And see all the different price increases and decreases. we can take a look at history, but history didn't even predict that they were going to do a $13,000 price decrease in January when they went from $13,000 down on January 12th. But usually they go 1,000 or up or 1,000 down at a time, even like $2,000 up at one point. But as fast as they increase price, I guess assuming they could also decrease price at that same rate of speed. But we can take a look at here, like they do not wait too long, right? If anything, they wait a couple weeks, maybe a month at most. So if they just decrease the price $2,000 the other day on 4/6, which was 4 days ago, and if inventory keeps going up like we're seeing on this chart, shout out to MatchYoung.net, Sir Zodiac, I would say, take a look at this. If this inventory line right here keeps going higher and higher and higher, you can expect that there's going to be another price decrease in the next week or so, or 2 or 3 or 4. I mean, this is the chart to look at. If this goes up, prices are going to go down. They just decreased it this past Thursday, maybe 2 Thursdays so now. So I would say, Zodiac, if you're really that focused on price and you don't need a car and you've got your interest or financing locked in, maybe it might be worth it to try and delay that order, maybe a week or two. Maybe just say you're out of town or something. See if you can see how long you can push it, but. If you're just joining in, everyone, we talked about the Model 3 and the Model Y market, and I certainly feel like, we don't know, like 99% sure that the Model 3 center range is going to get a price reduction. Model Y, on the fence. It depends on this chart right here. If inventory goes up, prices will come down. So tough. But thank you, Sir Zodiac. Thanks for the chat. Thanks for the super chat as well. We've got one more topic, and then of course we'll get into the live stream comments, and of course we'll get into anything else that you guys want to dive into at the end of the day. But in this next topic, it looks like the U.S. government, or specifically the Biden administration, are going to force all the competitors to sell EVs. And so we're going to talk about this really briefly. And this is good, right? This is good because Tesla plus competition equals better prices for us and better cars for us, I would say, at the end of the day. So we'll take a look at it. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on Tesla at the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And today's video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link down below in the description if you want to support the channel, but more on that later. All right, so let us take a look at this. Here's the headline: strict EPA rules for 2027. That's only like, what, 3-4 years from now? And to 2023 vehicles are expected this week. These are expected to be the toughest emission standards yet, a move that should push the industry even more into the direction of EVs. And so this is what the new EPA that's supposed to release some information, and this is probably why we're seeing a lot more headlines about how manufacturers and automakers are trying to go or pushing to go to EV a lot quicker. And so there's a lot of information in this article right here, but give it up to Car Sales Guy on Twitter. They basically summed it up in 3 to 4 bullet points that are very easy for us to digest. So the first one is majority of U.S. auto sales will be required with an R, to be EV, electric vehicle. The second one, this follows POTUS's plan for 50% of U.S. vehicle sales to be zero emissions by 2030. So that's what, 6 years from now or 7 years from now. And the last bullet point is that details will be released this Wednesday, 4/12. So, this is good. Competition is good for us as consumers. We're going to see more EVs, more manufacturers out there getting to the space, which will then push Tesla to either drop the price or come out with a better car, or you just elevate everybody else at the end of the day. And so that's the question, right? Like maybe most of you probably, or some of you out there, your first EV is a Tesla, and so, or maybe something else. And so there's going to be a lot more options in the near future. And so Tesla will just have to raise the bar at the end of the day for everything else. But let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what you're thinking about all these different competitors that are coming out here. And it seems like the government is going to force it all. But we're going to jump into the live stream comments. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link down below in the description if you want to support the channel. So definitely check it out. And if you're just joining in, here is a chart of the inventory of Model Y, and it is starting to creep up a lot. I would say at this point it was creeping up a little bit, and now it is creeping up a lot. And the weird thing, the interesting thing with this is that there was a Tesla price discount last week on Thursday, 4 days ago. And so usually with price discounts, inventory goes down. But maybe buyers, us, we're all conditioned to just wait it out and maybe not take delivery and see if Tesla will drop the price even more and even more to see if people will buy it. And so I would say we don't need another car. And I was thinking about maybe we should get one just, to have like a daily driver, because I do drive a lot of miles and I kind of want to take it off of the Model X instead. And so now I think I'm going to wait. I mean, I've always recommended, if you can wait till the end of each of the quarters. So March, June, September, December. So if you can wait, definitely wait. I mean, the flip side to that is that interest rates will continue to be going up and up and up, but the deals might get better. It might get better. I mean, at the end of the last quarter, we would see discounted demo vehicles anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000, even $4,000 off. And so if you can wait, it might as well be a good time to just wait it out at the end of the day. Bro, the Model Y can't go down more. I'm found lose all my money in resale of my Model Y. No, yeah, I mean, that's the problem, right? And maybe that's why Tesla will have to instate or release some sort of Tesla trade-in program to try and step people up from Model 3 to Model Y. I think that would make the most sense if they can. What about Model S? Been waiting to buy the dip. Model S has definitely already been depreciated for a while. It seems like there's a weird floor for new ones at like 83K, but used one, 70, 75K all day, I would say, at the end of the day. Warren, it's a good time to buy the Model 3 standard range. What is your recommendation? I would say wait it out at the moment. Don't buy it just yet. Thoughts on taking Model X delivery one day before the new calendar year and using it exclusively for Craigslist business for the one day so you can take max bonus depreciation? Yeah, I mean, but do you have revenue from that Craigslist business that will like basically $100,000 to write it off? Because that's what you basically have to do. When will the Model Y be sold with hardware 4.0? I would say sometime in the next few quarters. We're waiting for that hardware 4. Yeah, exactly. Model 3 will get price reduced more for sure. So many Model 3 rear-wheel drives in my area. Tesla can't seem to get rid of them, and it'll be even harder to get rid of them when the tax credit gets reduced. Yeah, 100%. I mean, I could easily see, what if Tesla Model 3 goes to like low 30s and then like a mini tax credit? Who knows, right? Hello, Dennis. It's a good time to buy Model 3. What's your recommendation? I would say wait if you can. They need a Tesla upgrade program, something like the iPhone upgrade program. Yeah, like what if? I mean, that's a great, interesting point, Smacky. Like, anybody out there right now that is in a Tesla or is about to buy one, you're probably looking at monthly payments anywhere from $800 to $1,000 regardless. Like, even if you buy a Model 3, it's still gonna be like $700 a month, give or take, no matter what. And you probably looked into leasing and maybe you didn't necessarily like that as well. But what if Tesla released some sort of subscription program that was like, hey, pay us $800 a month. You can have the newest Model Y every single time it comes out. You can, of course, cycle it every 2 to 3 years. And that's like your subscription program on and on and on. And I guess they would have to put a cap on the miles, like 10 to 15,000 miles. But I guess that's the same thing as leasing. So maybe not. Maybe I'm just speaking out of my ass then. The 2020's model was so last year. You talking about Model S or the Y? See you, user. Thanks for coming in. Charging in a Tesla slower supercharger, 150 kilowatts, as it is currently cheaper, but is too slow that my car has turned off already. No AC. Is there a setting to disable the auto power off? What do you mean auto power? I think Tesla shuts off for supercharging, charging beyond 30 minutes or at 30 minutes. I imagine it's happening on a hot day without the shade, no AC. Tesla needs to update software not to do this. Oh, actually, I didn't even realize that happens. I guess maybe because it gets too hot out. No, I haven't supercharged in a long time, but 150 is actually not too slow. I mean, I guess now it's kind of slow now that there's 250 and maybe 350s coming on the horizon, but 150 is probably the average around the area that you probably noticed. When do you think the next price drop will be, and when will the performance models be included in the price drop? I would say in the next few months at the end of the day. How else did you charge a Model 3 long LFP battery? It seems like you can charge those up to 100% and it won't harm the battery. Do you think Tesla Cybertruck order list will be based on the price you got or what price you got for the reservation? I would say so. I think it's a good shot at being at that prices, maybe like $10,000 more or less. But I would say it at this point with the most recent price drops, it could be at that price point for sure. More price drops on the Model Y? I think so in the near future. If Tesla's coming out with a discount of 50% for SFSD, I will buy another Tesla Model Y. That's a good point, right? Like we've had price drops across the board, Model 3, Model Y, S, and Model X, but they haven't adjusted the prices of any of the features, right? And we're talking about software features, enhanced autopilot, full self-driving, or even the hardware features. They increased the price of the 7-seater. I think it was $3,000 and now it's $4,000. So they could back down on some of these feature costs as well, but they're still keeping them at elevated prices as well. Do you think they'll have an update to address controlling where the video fees are going? Can't imagine the class action is not going well. Better get ahead of it. Yeah, I think so too. I think maybe they'll have like a delete button, or they'll probably release some sort of statement like only will stay on for, I don't know, a week or so. I took delivery a day before the $2,000 price dropped. Yeah, James, Sorry about that. Yeah, Tesla does do that. Unfortunately, they're very sporadic with their price drops, but I think it's going to be going to go lower and lower and lower. But I feel for you for sure. F in the chat for the Fallen 2K. Yeah, sorry, James. Yeah, exactly. But, here is a great way to save if you just bought your Tesla or if you're about to buy one. Check out our Tesla part accessory partners down below in the description. We've got Tamai, really good interior accessories. We've got Jawa, really good phone mount plus interior accessories. We got Tesloid, good entry-level floor mount. We got MAGBAK, really good OEM-looking phone mount for your Tesla. And also we've got a premium floor mat, all-weather floor mat provider, 3D Mats USA. Check it out, link down below in the description. But you can see right here, for anybody that's jumping in, we talked about the Model Y inventory, and Model Y inventory is starting to creep up just a little bit. And so this is weird, very weird, at least to me, because price decreases just happened just a few days ago and inventory is still spiking up. Once you have placing an order right now for the long range, the ET is already so far out, even if the prices go down, you would get adjusted, right? Provoke, exactly. Yeah, when you lock in an order, you are 100% locked in on the price. You're protected against price increases and you benefit from price decreases. So if you're willing to lose $250, I mean, you're not really losing $250, especially if you're going to buy anyways, you might as well just throw it in there at the end of the day. Jaden, what do you recommend me to do as I got my Model Y back from having paint issues? The paint job was done so poorly with dust spots everywhere, even bubbling. They want me to pay to fix it. Ooh, that's actually a weird one. I would try, if the service center you're going to is not helping you out, try a different one and keep trying to get it fixed at the end of the day. But I've had that issue before. It was like one little bubble in the paint. I, of course, made a stink with it. It was my first Tesla, so I didn't necessarily know at the time. And they kept my Tesla for 2 months trying to fix it. And at the end of it, they just repainted the whole thing. And so I really felt like it was probably not worth it at the end of the day. Igor, thanks for coming in. Welcome back. Long range. Yes, exactly. Pushing my reservation for the Model 3 until the 24th. Hopefully there is some sort of price drop. I think so too. Check waiting for Tesla website to see if anyone else, if there is something you already like in your area. Yeah, 100% Zodiac. Thanks for the plug there, or thanks for shouting out Waiting for Tesla. Shout out to TJ and the team for building this great site. If you don't know what Waiting for Tesla is, it is a third-party aggregator site where you can take a look at all the different Tesla inventory out there to see if you can put your name on any of these. These are exact vehicles on the Tesla website. You can see I just clicked reserve and it links you down exactly to the Tesla website, so you can reserve it, give them your $250 and reserve it, put your name on it at the end of the day. I have insider news that I shared yesterday on a nightly stream on here. There's another price cut coming with all Tesla models within 12 months. Igor, yeah, I mean, that's a long range, but yes, I agree. There's probably a price cut happening in the next 3 months. I'm putting my stamp on that one. I think another price cut is coming by June, which is the reason why I say that is because it's the end of the second quarter. At this rate, does it even make sense to even buy a vehicle? It depends. Premature. If you need a vehicle, then yes. Yes. If you don't, just keep playing the waiting game, I would say. Why is there such a price difference between the US and Canada Tesla? I think there's just currency differences. I think if you own Teslas from 2019 and 22, you can get suspension upgrade for roughly $1,000. Yes, I think you're talking about the Model Y, right? Yeah, we made a video about that the other day. A very cool feature that Tesla is allowing people to do. Cybertruck will come out differently than what it's been advertised, and the price will definitely change. Igor, what do you think the highest price Cybertruck was a tri-motor at $69,990, basically $70,000. Do you think it's going to come out initially at that price, maybe a little bit higher, or definitely not lower at this point? But I think it's going to be 69 to 79K. What are your thoughts? Thoughts on approximate price ranges on Cybertruck? Actually, Edward Lou, perfect. Actually, initially, what we do know with Tesla's MO and strategy, they never come out with the lowest price one first. So that's going to be 5-10 years down the line. That's for sure. They're going to come out with the highest, most expensive one initially. On the screen at the time, it was $69,990 when that event was released. And so I think it's going to be anywhere. It's probably, I have a feeling it's going to be like 74 to 79, maybe even 89,990, but who knows. Best thing about Tesla right now is they're extremely cheap on the used side. So if you buy a used one, you can score a very nice deal, especially for the Model 3 and the Model S. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we just bought our Tesla. Well, not just. We bought our Tesla, our used Model X in December, and I played that exact strategy. I would make offers all over the place, wait for one of the buyers or one of the sellers to bite, and then negotiate after that. Model 3 long range is still not available. Not sure where its new pricing is. VVEC is probably either 48 or 49, but how to actually see inventory is go to waitingfortesla.com, see if there's any of that pop up in your area. There's usually not a lot of them, but you can check it out here, sorted down to long range, and see if you can score one at the end of it. Cheap on the used market, I've only seen used vehicles at or under MSRP. You should be able to get it under it. Don't be afraid to negotiate with used vehicles. That's the beauty, especially with private sellers. That's what I always go after. Igor, higher. Okay, so you think the Cybertruck's gonna be higher than $79,000? Yeah, I kind of agree. Like I do have a looming fear that it's going to be like $100,000 or $120,000 because I feel like Tesla knows that they can charge that. They can charge whatever they want. Call me Prem, not premature. Sorry about that. Hey, Prem, thanks for coming back. Sunday, hey Dennis, what I missed? Model 3 is getting a bigger price cut. It was just definitely a speculation piece because, what we take a look at, what we watch every single day or every single week is the inventory charts. And Model Y inventory is steadily going up and up and up. And the weird thing is why is it going up? Especially when there was a price decrease just a few days ago. And so inventory should be selling. And so even though that price decrease happened, inventory is still going up. So price discount coming? Yes, and I would say the latest by June. Hopefully making a good decision taking delivery on Model Y long range tomorrow, which price is $52,990. I believe interest rates are causing inventory increases. Yes, the home dock. It's a little bit of a combination of both. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it's going to be earlier than June because I was thinking at the end of June, but usually when Tesla freaks out in terms of like they see too much inventory, they make price decreases immediately after. But I would say maybe even May, they're not even going to wait till the end of the second quarter. They're going to do it a lot quicker than that in terms of a price decrease. 150 kilowatt supercharger, slow down when you share power with other car that parks beside you. I end up waiting about 50 to 60 minutes for charging 80 to 15%. Another car parked beside me halfway. Yes, yeah. That's like a hidden known etiquette with Tesla superchargers, right? Maybe we should make a video on that as well. Like when you roll up to superchargers, you should give some spacing between the two because yes, the power will decrease pretty substantially and then you get stuck there for much, much longer. So see user, sorry, you have to going through that right now. Cybertruck will be higher price and demand is already high. It will sell out. Plus flippers will be charging over on 15 to 25K over, and those will sell because of short supply. Yeah, everybody wants to be the first one at the end of the day. A Model 3 performance dual motor all-wheel drive is $56 USD in Canada. Is that too much? I mean, that's what the price used to be, I would say. It was charging around 70K when a car was parked next to me. So I saw another 25 to 30 minutes added when I was supposed to be halfway done with the charger, and there was no one sharing power next to the stall. Jeez, yeah, it definitely sucks, I would say, at 150 kilowatt superchargers. Sean, welcome in. Thanks for coming. Happy Hippo, thanks for coming in. I just saw you're on. I'm still a little salty from December, but not as salty if I purchased before December. I like the car. I've definitely kept my eyes close as they decrease prices again. Yeah, Happy Hippo, I definitely feel like another price decrease is coming, especially in the next few months as we start to see how these price decreases have an effect on the inventory or not. Is it better to wait a year or two for Tesla to update the Cybertruck to avoid any potential recalls in the early years as of its launch? Jackson, I mean, I think that's a good rule of thumb. No matter all Tesla vehicles or really anything technology-wise, you should probably wait a few months if you can to take the second-year model version of anything out there. C user, thank you. No, thank you. No problem if it was a 250 kilowatt supercharger, as sharing does not decrease the power or the speed. I learned something new today. I actually thought the 250 kilowatt did the same thing, but now I realize, yeah, I always, whenever I go to 250 kilowatt, which thankfully the ones around me are 250 kilowatt, and even down the 5, they're also 250 kilowatt. Like, they don't necessarily decrease speed, and all the stalls are usually packed because there's a lot of Teslas here in the California or Teslafornia at the end of the day. Imagine the savings for the months that you have your Tesla. Count your blessings. Yeah, I got one more month of my free supercharging miles, and then they disappear, and then I have to pay for charging. Yes, I'm definitely counting the days, that's for sure. But thanks for watching this video, guys. Please hit that like if you enjoy it. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, actually, no, tomorrow's going to be tough, so I'll try and see you guys tomorrow. But this week is going to be a little bit sporadic as we are traveling, so thank you for supporting. Thanks for watching all the clips, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.